Good morning everyone, it's Yvonne here to do you What's Cracking reading. Before we go ahead, let me catch you up on a few things. Some of the cards I was giving to people, tarot and oracle cards, have already been sent. Thank you very much for reimbursing me for your postage. So I sent out about 6 decks yesterday. I still have a few decks to go out, so if you are waiting on one, I am getting there. I've been away doing other things in the last few days, so it's been a little bit hectic, but they are coming. And then I will send you something to let you know how much the postage cost if you agree to pay the postage. So I can offer personal readings now via my website, www.theaussiegoddess.com. So if you would like a personal reading with me, you can do it via the website, book your own time, length of reading, etc. But if you don't find time on there, please contact me directly. Sometimes I block out times outside of my work times just in case somebody is working or whatever. I'm quite happy to see if I can accommodate you outside of that time. A big thank you for you all for your support on the channel. I have noticed lately some beautiful changes that YouTube making, not just YouTube but social media in general. So now if people bully you or you have a really hard time with people, you can actually request to have their name and details released to you. So I feel most people bully under the guise of different identities, but I feel that's a big change for social media. And what I do notice now is they talked for such a long time about removing the thumbs down option on videos, and it looks as though they are moving towards that too. So good on you, YouTube, social media, for stopping bullying. It's not a really healthy way for people to respond to things, so it's really nice to see social media taking a stand. All right, so today we're going to use the oh my goodness, I've gone totally blank here, totally blank. The Millennium Thoth Tarot for your What's Cracking reading, and we'll get straight into your reading. All right, we have the Queen of Swords coming out. I love this morning. I feel a bit like this morning. I feel like chopping people's heads off. No, not literally, but just sort of enforcing some things for people. I feel like sometimes people sort of become very entitled and forget that it's, you know, a reciprocal agreement when it comes to friendship, relationships, whatever. The Queen of Swords is not an energy of holding back. It's an energy of speaking up, stepping forward, and sort of saying what you want to say. But really and truly, as much as she's cutting the head off in this picture, it's not really, it's only a picture, for example, but it's not really about that. It's about using your sword. It's about using your voice, your tongue, to speak up for things. This isn't about you doing something physical. It's about you understanding you have the power of your voice. And the Queen of Swords definitely has that. All right, so there's some sort of disappointment here with the Five of Cups. So there's an energy here of looking back at the past with regret or remorse. It is a card that talks about the past. It's also a card that talks about not letting go of the past. So this sort of says to me here that there is something about your past that you are holding on to or not speaking up about, which is quite interesting. And then we have the Six of Cups, which of course does talk about the past. Now I'm feeling here with one cup in between these two that it's very possible it had to do with love, but I feel this is your self-love here coming through, because we have the World card. So there's a pattern here that you're completing. Okay, in regards to something, in regards to love. Maybe you're understanding something you do in regard to relationships or love. The Queen of Cups definitely speaking up, saying something. Could be dealing with a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius here, but I feel this is your energy learning to speak up for something. There is something to do with the past. I feel like it's a pattern here with the universe, but there is something to do with the past here. Because the Six of Cups does talk about the past. Between the 5 and the 6, there's a cup missing, which says to me it has something to do with love. And then I see the universe and I think there is a pattern of something you do in relationships or in love that you are either recognizing, cycling, or starting to understand. Because we have the Two of Cups here. Okay. And we have the Emperor sitting here. In between that, the Four of Pentacles. All right. There is something you are starting to understand about the way you respond, react, or work in relationships. I feel like in particular they're talking about romantic relationships. The Ace of Cups says to me, you know, to me that's about love, but I feel like here it's about having self-respect and self-love here. But there is something you do in relationships that is no longer serving you, and you are seeing the pattern of what is happening here. And I feel like because of that, you are closing out a cycle, because something you've been doing up until now is not serving you, and the universe is trying to get you to see so that you can move on from it and do things differently this time. All right, so first off, I have the Two of Swords. So this sort of says to me that there is a decision now that needs to be made, and I feel like it's in regard to this. Now, it may be that you are overgiving in relationships and you forget to receive. For example, you know, you may go into relationships and put everything into them, and then the person on the other side takes advantage of that and perhaps doesn't give back. It may be a pattern that you've created within yourself because that was the way you were taught as a child, that you always had to put the energy in and not receive. Now, sometimes we think of that as being sort of a material thing or a logical thing, but I feel like here they're talking about something that goes deeper than that. They're talking about the energy you're putting in terms of your own energy. This may not be a physical thing like running around and giving things to people. It may be something emotionally that you're doing, because there's a pattern here. So there's a decision here with the Two of Swords to do things differently, to make a decision to do things differently here. All right, so we have the Five of Swords coming through with the Ten of Wands. Yeah, there's a completion, and you're stepping into the Queen of Wands energy. I love it. Okay, so this is sort of like standing back in your power again, like taking back your power. What have you been doing in relationships, especially in relationships here? Because whatever this is, there is a completion. You're putting this burden down with the Ten of Wands. The Five of Swords tells me you're moving away from something after making some sort of decision here. And I feel this is a pattern, especially with the Ten of Wands. There's the energy of you repeating a pattern. Again, I feel this is in relationships. Now, I don't feel it's just in romantic ones. What this feels like to me is in all of your relationships. Are you always expected to put in the energy and not anybody is expected to give back? Is that how you think love works? Because something here became out of kilter when you were young. So you may have had a parent who always expected you to do the doing, but never gave you anything in return. Now, it could be love. So your parent may have expected you to give love, to always worship them, appreciate them, but they really didn't put in the energy that you needed back for you to understand balanced approaches to relationships. You've been taught very early with this one. Now, if you're going to say to me that you had a parent that loved you unconditionally, that's fine. Maybe that's where the problem was. It is not a bad or a good thing. It just is. You've had somebody around you when you were young teaching you this is how you needed to be in relationships, and you're still continuing that pattern. Now, this may mean relationships may be difficult to maintain, because once you get someone to the point of always thinking they can receive and don't have to put in, then you're bringing in toxicity. So whatever this is, you're completing this pattern. Three of Wands coming through with the Three of Swords and the Prince of Wands. This is really interesting. So the Three of Swords talks about hurt, pain and heartbreak. But you know what? You're doing it yourself here. You're sabotaging yourself. So you are not really understanding, because what starts to happen after a while, if you don't assert yourself or don't ask for what you want, eventually that relationship will become toxic. You will start getting resentful and angry, that Five of Cups energy, looking back and wondering how it got to the point it did. But you've created this yourself. Okay, Seven of Cups, it's an illusion. Look, Nine of Cups. I've had these cards come out together the last few times I've done readings. It's very much this energy of realizing a pattern and putting a stop to it. Now, I feel like sometimes we try to put this right, but we don't quite understand it. And I feel like this is really important, but I'm going to try and understand what Spirit is saying here. When we put in boundaries, we often feel it's a physical boundary that we have to assert. So we feel, that we can put in physical boundaries and we can say to people, you can't do that. It doesn't make me feel comfortable. I don't want to do that. It may be something as simple as, somebody treating you unfairly, but it's visible. What we forget is there's a lot of invisible energy within us, a lot of invisible energy that we hand out. And I tell you how you know that. If you're an empath, you can understand when somebody's sapping your energy, because you walk away and you feel physically drained, mentally drained. And you're like, how do I feel this way? When I was younger, Spirit would say to me all the time, Yvonne, you need to protect your energy. You need to protect your energy. And I used to do all the prayers of protection and I'd be really good at it. And then I'd start to let my guard down. And again, I would find people would sap my energy. That energy is not something physical that you can actually identify. Sometimes people just take advantage of you because they understand your healing. They know with that energy you have that you're a healer, and they take from the healing and they don't return in energy. And you can tell the people that return in energy because when you're around them, you feel like you can walk away and still be who you are. There is something in an illusion that you've held on to for a very long time in regards to relationships, such as friendships, maybe even with family, where you have to constantly invest your own energy to keep people happy. So people will take from that emotional energy or take from your energy and not return anything. And they are the emotional vampires that we learn to live alongside in this universe. You can protect yourself from this though. You can. You have to learn to. Now, sometimes you can do it by doing prayers of protection if that's what you need to do, but sometimes you just have to understand, where do I finish and where does the other person begin? Because if you start to get too much in their energy, you become part of who they are. And then you forget who you are. So there's a very strong energy here that you have to recognize that line between you and them. How much do you invest? Six of Wands shows victory. So I feel like for some of you here, and like I always talk about, I get so many people responding to me when I do these readings that understand what I'm saying here. We are all learning the same lessons here. Our learning is variable. People are learning from different perspectives, but we are all on the same path, all of one collective. People are learning their own personal patterns and how to work with them. So there is a very strong feeling here with this victory card that you are recognizing yourself in this. You are recognizing where your patterns sit and how you have to work with them. But they may not be things that you can physically put your finger on. They may be things you're doing that go beyond that. Have a think about it. Let's have a look. What is going on? Now, I feel like here this is about speaking up, but it's also because this is clarity. This sword means clarity. It talks of precision. I feel like here somehow or another you're starting to understand how to put something into action. There is something from your past that you've been doing, very much so, that has created something that you need to learn how to not doing the way that you've been doing it before. You've created an illusion of loving. You've created an illusion of love. So your love idea is that you give everything in love, and maybe you're not really understanding that you don't have to train yourself completely to do that. There is some sort of change taking place here in a relationship or in a situation where you are asked to let go of something and stand in your power here. And I feel like somehow or another you're learning, where does my boundary finish and where does the next person start? All right, let's read you a card from the Lightworker Oracle. Now, the universe has sent 2 out here, so I'm going to honour the 2. And let's see what they're saying. Okay, card number 1, Hilarion and Raphael. Card 28. Now, I feel like we've had this out in the last week, so it may be something we've already encountered. Part of your divine purpose is to develop the power of your mind and use it for healing purposes. If you change your mind, you can change your world. Guidance and healing inspiration can come to you daily, helping improve your own life and the life of others. Healing and opening the mind to new realities and possibilities are the gifts of Ascended Master Hilarion and the Archangel Raphael. This oracle comes with a message for you. If you're interested in healing, that involves the mind, whether this might be psychology, psychotherapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, hypnosis, NLP, philosophy, or a course of study, you are encouraged to explore it. If you feel inspired to work with your belief systems through affirmations or other techniques for mental reprogramming, such as guided relaxations and meditations, you are encouraged to do this too. Your mind is developed and powerful, and you will work well with such techniques. So there's a definite need here for you to change your mindset on something. And I have reassurance of the golden light coming out too, so let's see what they say on this one. 36. This golden light comes to you as a gift of grace and reassurance. It is an embrace from the universe, an expression of divine comfort and a sign of hope. When the golden light appears, it is a sign that everything in your life, even the most troubling matters, is going to work out perfectly. They are held in the graceful hand of the divine and will be resolved more swiftly and beautifully than you might expect. This is interesting. It says, perhaps you are struggling with a particularly difficult time, an initiation or challenging choice lies before you. Or maybe you have taken a leap and just need to know that you are doing the right thing, and somehow, even though you don't feel in control of what is happening, it is going to work out. When the golden light is given to you, it is freely done as a gift from the heart of the universe. It is letting you know that you are a child of the universe and you are dearly loved. It is reminding you that on the path, the struggle to continue with trust, patience, faith, and courage can seem almost overwhelming. However, the universe is with you, supporting, loving, and believing you in every step of the way. You are not alone. You are never forgotten. You are always loved and encouraged to take your journey. You are reminded that the universe is smiling upon you. There is something here that is letting you know that the universe is taking you through this because it is time for you to understand or learn how to love and respect yourself. Now, I feel like here that they are saying to you that everything is working perfectly in the way it should. So you are about to understand a lesson of something you do around love that is going to help you respect your own boundaries or respect your own limits. Whatever this is, it may be different for different people, but it's about you understanding that you've been doing something that has not served you up until now, and you're going to make those changes. I'll leave you with that. Thank you.